Hello, boys and girls. This is Miss Boyd, and I am so glad that you are with us today. We are going on a virtual field trip to South America. So take a moment and look at these pictures on this first page we have. And this is just some of the beautiful scenery that we are going to see as we travel through South America. You're going to have a great time. Make sure you have everything you need. You should have your suitcase and, of course, your passport. That is your identification that lets people know where you're from. So if you were to get lost, they could help you find your way home. Now here is a map of the whole world, and you guys have traveled lots of different places already. I know that you've been to Asia, you've been to Australia, Africa, and we live in the United States. But today we are going to South America, so this is going to be neat. The United States is part of North America. So to go to South America, we are going to travel south. That kind of makes sense, doesn't it, boys and girls? So we are going to travel south. I know you have been looking at your compass rose, learning your directions. North is up on a map, south is down. East and west are to the sides. Basically, we are just going south. Now, South America is a pretty large continent. It has 12 countries in it. Some of them are really big and some of them are kind of small. But we're going to look at some of the most popular places. We're going to look at some awesome animals. So let's head south to South America. This picture gives you a few more ideas of what we're going to see. I hope you can see the mountains, some other animals. Oh, I see a soccer ball. We're going to talk a little bit about soccer and how that is important to a lot of countries in South America. Something you probably heard of before is the Amazon rainforest, and that's what we're going to start with today. And before I move into that, I'm going to show you there is a long river that stretches almost all the way across South America called the Amazon River. Just like we're in the Amazon rainforest, that long river is called the Amazon River. It is the second longest river in the world. One more thing on this slide that's very important is this dashed line going across your screen. That is the equator. Now, the equator is not a real line. You can't look out from the sky at the earth and see that. It's an imaginary line, but that is the largest part around the earth, and that is the warmest part of the earth. And you notice that that line is going right through our Amazon rainforest. That's because our rainforests are found in those warmest parts along the equator. So let's learn more about the rainforest. So this is called the Amazon rainforest. Again, we have our Amazon River that flows through it. Now, the Amazon River was the second largest river in the whole world, but guess what? The Amazon rainforest is the largest rainforest in the whole world. And you can think of it as just a huge jungle. It's a huge jungle with tall trees, thick vines, and plants growing everywhere. It is home to more plants and animals than anywhere else in the whole world. Let's take a look at a few of those animals. I'm not going to read everything on this page to you, but I know you'll enjoy these pictures just like I did. And these are some of the animals that you've probably seen before, maybe a few that you haven't. But this one is beautiful. And it starts counting down here from number 11. This is called a golden lion tamarin. And he says it's actually a monkey, and it gets that name because it looks like it has a mane. Lion tamarin. It has a mane on it like a lion. That's pretty neat. One thing really interesting about them is these monkeys are not very tall or not very long, but their tails grow even longer than their bodies. Their tails grow very long. Now here's a scary one, an anaconda. That is the world's largest, heaviest, and most powerful snake. They are huge, and you can find them in the Amazon rainforest. This one is a funny looking bug. He's called the peanut head bug. And if you look right here at his head, I bet you can guess why. This frog is really neat looking. He's called a glass frog. And you can see his insides. His body is translucent or transparent. That means you can see through. So that's how he got his name Glass frog. This lizard is pretty cool. He can walk on water. He's so dense he can go across the water without falling in. And he is called the Jesus lizard. We have the kinkajou. Says he's a relative of the raccoon. You may have seen this animal in some movies recently. This is a sloth. He's known as the world's slowest animal. Oh, we have a poison dart frog. This actually says he may not be deadly at all. There are 3 species that are lethal in his family. Now, this Amazon river dolphin is beautiful, like dolphins we've seen before. The pink color is because it says their blood capillaries are located near the surface of the skin. So imagine dolphins like maybe you've seen before, but with a pink looking color. And then macaws, beautiful, colorful birds that can actually mimic people's speech. So it's like they're talking to you. And then the king, the real king of the jungle, the jaguar. At least he's the king of our Amazon rainforest. He has the strongest bite because his jaws are so powerful. And he is considered the king of the Amazon rainforest. That is just some of the animals there. Remember, there are more animals and more plants than anywhere else in the world. Now, the Amazon rainforest is really large, and part of it is in Brazil. So Brazil is one of the countries in South America. These are a couple of pictures from Brazil. The city on the bottom is a very famous city named Rio de Janeiro. Most people who live in Brazil live along the coast, and the coast is the land that's right beside the water. You can kind of think of it as the beach. Many people live there. I want you to look closely at this picture, and you can see all the ships out in the water. Well, Rio de Janeiro, is very famous as a port city. That means things come into the city there and things come out. They send things to other countries. And let's look at the next page. We'll find out a couple of those things that they send to us. One of them is one of my favorites, coffee. They are a big country for selling coffee. Brazil is. Also oranges, so orange juice and other things. Our countries of South America are famous for soccer. That's like the major sport there in South America, soccer. They also have a huge festival known as Carnival. Carnival. That's one of their famous celebrations. Other things that you can get from Brazil are soybeans and sugar and actually rubber. And you're going to get a little booklet with your resources where you can find out things that come from Brazil. Now, do you remember learning about the savanna in Africa? That's the grassland in Africa. South America also has huge grasslands, just like the savanna, but they're not called the savanna. They're called the Pampas. And everywhere you'll look, you'll see thousands of cattle roaming the Pampas. They chew on the miles and miles of grass. On the South American Pampas, gauchos watch over the cattle. So a gaucho is a South American cowboy. He rides a horse, wears a big brimmed hat, and knows how to rope a cow by throwing a lasso. If we look at this map, you can see a lot of the area of South America is that flat grassland called the Pampas. And remember, there's lots of cows there, so you're going to need your gauchos. You're going to need the South American cowboys. You may have noticed on one of those first maps that all along the eastern side of South America, we have mountains all the way down. If you go high on those mountains, it's going to be colder weather, so you can see the peaks of these mountains are white, like there's snow. And then here is a real picture of the mountains, and we can see the alpacas and the llamas. And these animals can live in those mountains, and they are used for their wool. So they are very important to that area. Our next stop in South America is something really neat. So we have this huge continent of South America, and off to the side of it is also is this small group of islands called the Galapagos Islands. Now, you're going to see some animals that are very typical for islands. These are not the only ones there, but these are some of the animals you would see. But I really want you to look at this huge turtle. And this is called a Galapagos turtle, just like they're called the Galapagos Islands. So these turtles get huge, and they live a very long time. So people like to travel to these islands to see these huge turtles. They're really amazing. Now, if you travel to South America, would you be able to communicate with the people? Well, if you can speak Spanish or Portuguese, you may be able to. Those are the most common languages. But just in Brazil, 180 different languages are spoken. So there are lots and lots of languages spoken in South America. Lots of different people groups in South America. You will be hearing a lot more about South America come this summer, especially with Rio de Janeiro that we looked at, that big city we looked at. That's a busy, busy city because the Summer Olympics will be there this summer. And the Summer Olympics are where people compete in different sports and they try to win medals. They try to win gold or silver or bronze medals for competing. So just watch for that on television and you'll be seeing all kind of interesting information about the Olympics. They are so fun to watch and you'll find out more, even more, about Rio de Janeiro. Well, boys and girls, I hope you have enjoyed this trip to South America. I wish we could stay longer and have more fun, but you do have some resources available to you, and I really hope you enjoy those. Make sure you look at the book, the flip book, where you can make the man twirl the lasso. You will enjoy that. So it is time for us to come home, and Miss Boyd will see you guys soon.